Let me guess. You're the kind of person who's always there for anybody. You tolerate what you shouldn't, you give more than you have. But yet, in the end of the day, there's this heaviness, and you think, I wish I had said no. I wish I had chosen myself for once. Can you feel what I'm talking about? Yeah, boundaries. In this video, we're gonna talk about them. So, without further ado, let's begin. Many of us don't have a problem recognizing when somebody crosses our boundary. The problem is that we convince ourselves that it's not big of a deal. But I wanna tell you a completely different story. Please trust me that every time when you tell yourself, I can tolerate this, like it's kind of not big of a deal, like I can negotiate the standard, like nothing. Trust me, at the end of the day, this thing will become a big deal. People who require you to neglect your boundaries will never, ever neglect their boundaries for you. They know them and they will stand by them. This is why, in the first place, we have to prioritize our standards and our boundaries because this is about you. Other people will not negotiate it. And trust me, even if they did, you wouldn't want this. Not for yourself, not for them. You don't want to deal with people pleasing. For freaking what? For approval? You can give this to yourself. For validation, guess what? You can give this to yourself. And one more thing that I hear very often is people saying, I don't want to make a scene out of it. The thing that we need to understand that setting boundaries, it's not about being rude. It's not about building these walls around yourself so nobody can get you. No, it is simply you prioritizing your needs first. It doesn't mean that you neglect others' needs, you neglect their presence, anything. No, but you go first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So please write it down somewhere. A boundary isn't a wall that keeps people out. It's information that shows people where you end and they begin. And I know that it's not always easy to set a boundary in the calmest way possible. Sometimes you have to stay firm, but it doesn't require you to be rude, to shout, and all of that. And one more important thing, silence is also a boundary. And I'm not talking about punishment as a silence, like, I keep ignoring you, maybe you'll understand what was wrong. No, I mean when something is totally freaking not okay with you, you would never tolerate it, and then you just walk away without saying a word, because sometimes choosing yourself looks like walking away. Now let's talk about different types of boundaries so it would be easier for you to recognize yours. First, physical boundary. Physical boundary defines what you're comfortable with regarding your personal space, touch, and physical interactions. Just because someone is comfortable with hugging you, entering your space, or borrowing your things doesn't mean that you're comfortable with that too. And it's okay to tell them that. Second, emotional boundaries. They help you to separate your emotions from somebody else's. They allow you to support people without taking responsibility for their reactions, feelings, emotions, and life choices. Third, one of my favorite, time boundaries. They protect one of the most valuable resources in your life, time. They include deciding how much of your schedule and attention you're willing to give to other people without constantly sacrificing your own priorities. Fourth, communication boundaries. They define how you expect to be spoken to and treated during the conversation. Therefore, they help you recognize when situation becomes disrespectful or manipulative, and therefore give yourself permission to step away from that. Next, we have sexual boundaries. They define what you're comfortable and uncomfortable with in romance and sexual situations. This is a big one. I think so many girls are suffering because of that. I want to remind you that consent, it's not one-time agreement. It's ongoing conversation. They're going to protect your well-being so freaking much, so make sure you have them. Next, energy boundaries. They involved staying mindful of what and who you allow to occupy your mental and emotional space. It is so important because there are so many situations where we've been like, yeah, but we've been friends since, I don't know, high school, but I'm continuously drained every time after meeting them. I cannot emphasize this more. This is enough of a reason to walk away, to say, thank you, I don't need this anymore. Once again, you don't have to make a scene out of this. You can just basically limit your connection with that person. Because energy as well as time, one of the most important resources that you have. If you don't have energy, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to freaking leave. You don't want to fulfill your dreams, go for them, and all of that. It's so valuable, you cannot squander it. You can't. You don't have this ability, you don't have this capacity inside of you. No. It's not allowed, baby. And finally, financial boundaries. They determine how comfortable you are with lending money, sharing expenses, doing 50-50 with somebody, or financially supporting others. They truly help you prevent situations when your generosity turns into obligation or resentment. Okay, but what do I do if I don't know my boundaries? I have a great idea for you. Everything is within. First and foremost, pay attention to your strong emotions. Anger, resentment, frustration, those are signals that your boundary had been crossed. These emotions aren't always a problem to be fixed, but rather information that tells you that something doesn't feel right for you. Secondly, notice what you repeatedly tolerate. If you constantly find yourself saying, not big of a deal, I can put out with that, like nothing, pay attention, because those things in the end create the most resentment for you. Pay attention to situations that drain your energy. After interacting with any people, ask yourself, how do I feel? If after the interaction you constantly feel overwhelmed, drained, exhausted, it might be a signal that a boundary needs to be established. Always listen to your body, because sometimes our body can notice a boundary violation even before the mind does. Tension, anxiety, discomfort, or knot in your stomach, or the urge to pull away from a situation. Those are all signals. And lastly, notice where you feel obligated rather than willing. Situations when you do things out of guilt, fear, or pressure rather than your truest desire, it may indicate that you're acting against your own boundaries. Honey, no situations where your boundaries are crossed is worth it. There is no such thing. Start prioritizing yourself, because every time that you're acting against your will, against your boundaries, you're abandoning yourself. You're abandoning yourself in the fear of abandoning other people. Does it make sense? Because you're the only one who will be with you to the rest of your days, okay? You are a priority, because if you don't exist, nothing exists. You're of the utmost importance. You go first. And it doesn't mean that you have to be rude. It doesn't mean that you have to neglect other people. No, you're just first. And everybody else, second, third, and all of that, okay? I repeat myself, you can never pour out of an empty cup. And please stop being afraid of people not liking you when you set a boundary. Fuck them. Like, come the fuck on. Can you imagine what kind of people they are? They want to use you. They want to use you. People who truly love you, they will be so happy for you, for your becoming, because they know that it literally contributes to your self-worth, to your self-confidence, self-value, and all of that. They will be happy for you. No healthy person with healthy boundaries would tell you, you've changed. You were better before watching all of that. Self-improvement content, reading those books. No, you weren't better. You were easy to use, that's all. It's okay to tell no people, because in the end of the day, you're the one who will be left with resentment and self-hatred and this heaviness and this desire to change something in the past, you know? You're the one who'll be dealing with it, not those people. And plus, you shouldn't be afraid of hurting those people's feelings, because people who want to use you, people who want you to be people pleaser, they don't respect you in a way. So there's nothing to lose, actually. Whether or not, like, you can be perfect with them. You have to be, fuck them. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it resonated with you. And remember, you are more powerful than you think you are. Till the next time. Mwah.